Okay, so let's start. Right. So last day, what we were talking is about recursion, right? So we just convert our repetition, like repetition exercises. So these things to recursion exercises using functions. Now we have few more exercises to discuss, right? So at least these two patterns. Okay, the first of all, what you need to do is you need to identify the pattern. So that is the number one thing that you need to do when there is such task. All before anything that you do, so what you need to do is you need to understand, identify, and recognize the pattern. Here, so how this Fibonacci number series is generated. So if you analyze, you can see the first two numbers are added to generate the next. So first two numbers you need to know. That means you can say the Fibonacci 1 is 1 and Fibonacci 2 is also 1. First two numbers you need to know. So if you know the first two numbers, generating the next number can be done by adding the previous two numbers. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. Likewise, you can keep adding the previous two numbers to generate the next Fibonacci number, and that is the pattern that we are going to use here. Okay, all right, so let's see how this pattern can be generated now. Okay, let me use ideally. So if you have done this, you can also contribute, right? Because I have given this exercise last day, but I hope that you have tried to get at least closer to this something. So let's see what we can do about this. I'm defining a function. Let's say define a Fibonacci function. So let's say you are to discover Fibonacci number of a given. So you know if n is equal to 1. Sorry, yeah, n is equal to 1. That means Fibonacci 1. Or if n is equal to 2, that is Fibonacci 2, this one, both are 1. That you can actually, so either you can print or you can return. Let's return that, return 1. So because Fibonacci, the first Fibonacci or the second Fibonacci is 1. That you already know. The problem comes with the next Fibonacci. Else, what you need to do, you need to get the Fibonacci, the previous one. This is n or n Fibonacci. Then you have to get n minus 1. And the one before that, that is actually Fibonacci n minus 2. So very simple. You have to return that. Actually, let's see what will happen if you try to run like this. Let me save this first. And run it. Okay, I'm asking Fibonacci 1. So you can see it's 1. So what is Fibonacci 2? It is also 1. So what is Fibonacci 3? That is the previous one, that n minus 1, n minus 2. That is 2. How it is generated? Fibonacci n minus 1. N is 2, no? When n is 2, it will go to if and check whether n, sorry, when n is 3, sorry, n is 3. N is 1, it will return 1. No doubt about that. N is 2, it will return 1. Again, no doubt about that. But n is 3, it will not go to the if, it will go to the else. Now it knows n is 3. Then it is trying to get n 3 minus 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2. Do you know Fibonacci 2? So what is the value of the second Fibonacci? N you don't know. Fibonacci 3 you don't know, but you know n minus 1 is 2. Fibonacci 2 is, yes, what is the value? Then okay, 1. Fibonacci 2 is 1. Then Fibonacci n minus 2. N minus 2 means 3 minus 2. That is Fibonacci 1. Fibonacci 1 is also 1, right? Then what actually you are doing? 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So let's try with Fibonacci 4 now, right? Fibonacci 4. That is 3. That is previous 2. How it happened? When you ask Fibonacci 4, okay, it will go here and check whether is it 1? No. Is it 2? No. It will come to the else. Then else part says, okay, Fibonacci 4, no. Fibonacci 4, it doesn't know. But it asks you to find Fibonacci 4 minus 1, which is 3. Fib 3. Do you know Fib 3? What is Fib 3?
2.
Yeah, Fib 3 2, but still you don't know. Still you can't find it because in this solution it is not there. But then Fib 3 plus Fib 2, right? Do you know Fib 2? Actually, what will happen here? Let me explain. The Fib 4 equal to Fib 3 plus Fib 2. So do you know Fib 3? You don't know. But do you know Fib 2?
Yes.
1. It is 1, right?
Yes.
So Fib 3 you don't know, but when Fib 3 is given, what it will do? It will again check Fib 3 will be divided to Fib 3 will be divided to Fib 2 plus Fib 1, right? Because it knows how to calculate Fib 2 plus Fib 1. It knows how to calculate this. Now this time you know what is Fib 2. Fib 2 you know it is 1. Fib 1 also you know that is also 1. And Fib, this is already discovered. This 1 plus 1 plus 1 is, the final answer will be 3. Understood how this is generated? Okay, let's say Fib, another one, right? Fib 5 was given. So Fib 5, when Fib 5 is given, what it will do, it will try to calculate Fib 4 and Fib 3, right? Because previous two Fibs. Fibonacci 4 plus 3. 4 you don't know, 3 you don't know. But 4, you know something about 4. 4 is what? 3 plus 2. Something about this is basically Fib 4 is 3 plus 2. Fib 3 is Fib 2 plus 1. Now you know some values. What are the values? Fib 3 you don't know. But you know Fib 2 you know it is 1. Then, oh, sorry. Fib that you know, this one you know it is also 1. This one you know it is also 1. Now you have how many ones? 1, 2, 3 ones, but still you don't know what is Fib 3, but you know how to find Fib 3. Fib 3 is what? 4 is 3, 2, 3 is 2, 1. Then 3 you don't know, 3 is 2, 1, right? 3 is 2, 1. Then let's try 3 with 2, 1. 2 is then when you copy the line down, you know what? 2 is 1. Fib 2 is 1. And Fib 1 is also 1. Then there are 3 ones. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 5, right? That is how you get Fib 5 as 5. Okay, now you are getting the Fibs. If you get the Fib 6, still you will get the same recursion and get the values. Fib 6 is, Fib 7 is, you get in the next. Now what you need to do, you need to write down this in order. Here this function is not writing this in order, no. So let's write it in a function. Def display Fibs. You can say starting from 1 up to n. We can say starting from 1 up to n may be equal to end into up to 10. So these are the default values, but you can just take some other. Then what you need to do, if the start less than or equal to end, like yesterday what we did. So then you are going to print Fib, that is the previous, this one, Fib is start, print Fib start, and that is the previous function that you have defined. Otherwise else, and with end, this end with the space, right? End with space and else nothing to do actually, else, and you have to recall the function again. Display Fibs 110 again. Actually this time you have to tell st equal 1. You have to tell st plus 1, right? St plus 1, because you have to add 1 again. And end in, like, you can keep the default. ending is same ending. You can keep the default. Then yes, okay, let's save, run. Now you have to run the display fibs function. Since they are a default, no need to give the values, but if you want, you can give the values as well. You can see it's printing from 1 to 55. You can customize, right? You can say I want to start from fib 1 and I need up to fib 20. You can see it's printing. Customizable. Now you can try that, and also just give a try, maybe 5 minutes small try to do the factorial similar to that. Factorial, how it is generated, let me explain. First is 1, 1 into 2 is 2, that into 3 is 6, that into 4 is 24, that into 5 is 120. So keep multiplying by the next available integer. Okay, try to get that as well. That that has only, so whatever you have shown me is, it has only minor mistake. So now you are actually on the track. So yeah, you can do that. That's all. I can give you time to try, but anyway, so it's same thing that you have done. Here define factorial. Let's say you need factorial n. This time you have to say if n is equal to 1, the factorial n you know. If n is equal to 1, then you can say return 1. You know only 1, because 2 you need to discover, else actually you have to return yes n into factorial n minus 1. Yes, that is it. N into, because then you need to find like if factorial 2 into factorial 1. Factorial 3 is basically 3 into factorial 2. That's it. So let's see whether this will be printed now. I'm going to save this and run this. Then I'm asking, okay, factorial 1. So what is factorial 1? It says 1. Yeah, factorial 2. It says it's 2. Factorial 3. It says it is 6. And factorial 4, it is. Yeah, I'm done. So that's it. That's very simple, right? With recursion, these patterns, it seems easy, right? With recursion. But repetition, we have written some more code to get this done. But the recursion, so it has made this way easy. So then how to print the remaining factorial? We have to call similar function again, display facts or display factorials. So display facts starting from 1 to end, and you're displaying this time factorial 1, and the next factorial is basically display facts, and you're adding 1 to the starting position. Likewise, you can display the factorials. Let's see. I'm calling the display facts function. You can see it's printing it. So these factorials are getting like bigger and bigger. It's exponential because you are multiplying. Here you are adding. Adding is not that much bigger, but multiplying is basically bigger. So it will make this number a very big number, giant, exponential, because you keep on multiplying by the next available integer, next positive integer. Okay, that's it. Copy down very quickly, right? So you have done this. Okay, you have to only modify a small part. Okay, now we have come to a certain level. Now we have handled functions, recursive functions, returning functions. So we have handled all these things. Now it's time to move to the next thing. That is basically, so we have discussed this part called comments. Comments will be starting from hash mark. Comments are basically used to temporarily disable code or add some description about this text. Here, just you can say, this will print factorials from 1 to 10 by default. You can explain the code like this, and or you can temporarily disable some code from running. So both can be done with the comments. So Python has single line comments only, but there is a way to implement multi-line comment, but this is not a genuine way of putting multi-line comment. Python single line comment begin with hash, so that will comment the text in front of that. So if you want to comment multiple lines, you have to put hash in front of each line, and that will comment all these things. That is how the Python comments are created. But there is a secret way. It's not a secret actually. There is a tip, a trick that you can apply. Just put in single quote, triple single quotation, and that will make this text in green color, which will indicate a multi-line text. Actually, this is indicating a multi-line text. So this text is isolated, not assigned to anything. So therefore, this won't work. So this is another like black magic of adding a comment. This is not a real comment, because in other programming languages, there are two types of comments. Single line comments to comment one line, multi-line comments to comment many lines. That is there in other languages. Single line comment to comment a single line, multi-line comments to comment multiple lines. That is there in other languages. But here in Python, so you have only single line comments. The multi-line comment can be added this way, but this is not a standard multi-line comment. What this will do, this will add a multiple line string. Multiple line string. Since this will become a string, the code won't work. Code will think that is just a text. So code won't work. So that is a tip actually. That tip explains how to add a multi-line comments. Then we have described, we have actually discussed about the code libraries. So one library that we have tested is Turtle. Another library is Kinter. Kinter is basically introducing a graphical user interface window. NumPy and Math are some other libraries that you can use. Turtle is for the string drawing. Okay, after that, the functions we have discussed, then actually we need to look at the next one, that is basically file handling. Let's move to that part. Let's write down the topic. We have discussed all these things. We have discussed a lot, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So around like in this note, around 87 pages. That's a very long, lengthy. So I have not given the note. Sorry, I couldn't give that because I was really like, I want to format this and format this properly and give this to you, because this has singular language, English language mixture. Sometimes you might confuse. Therefore, I will filter it and give it to you, right? But then there will not be like 87 pages. So half is in singular and half is in English. Therefore, it will cut down to half when this is only in English language. And then when I remove the unnecessary duplicates and all, it will again around 30 pages, maximum 35 pages note will be there. I'll provide that to you. Okay, now, so we need to know about the files. In Python, there are two types of files, not just in Python, in operating system, in any kind of operating system, there are two categories of files. So one is called text file. Text files are basically readable characters. Any file that can be read using simple text editor. We categorize these files as text files, because these files can be opened and can be read easily using any text editor. So these text files, examples, Python is a text file, you can read it. HTML web page is a text file, you can read it. Log file, Java file, CSV, PHP, CSS, text files, TXT text files, all these are text files. Basically, you can read it. Those are readable text. But there are files which you cannot read using a simple text editor, mostly because it contains different shapes, graphics, multimedia. So for an example, in Word file, we can include shapes and graphics or multimedia. Excel file, it's possible to add charts, etc. PowerPoint slides and all are there. And also graphics. JPG is directly graphic. MOV is a movie file. MP3, MP4 are audio and video files. Anyway, these are multimedia files. So these multimedia files, the problem is basically these multimedia files, these are basically pixels. Pixels means screen drawings. Some are not just pixels, some are screen audio. Therefore, you can't read this just using text. You can't just read, you can't use this text to read that files. Those files are known as binary files. Those are the two categories of files available. So please write the heading, file handling, the main heading, file handling. Main heading is file handling. Under that, you can write this part, the highlighted part. After that, you can write the two type of file categories available. No need to write the other thing. Write in this highlighted part is enough. Right? Just write the highlighted part. Right. So let's do this. Let's analyze. How can we use this to write and read the files? Right. Both kind of files can be written, can be written and can be read. But when you're reading binary files, so these binary files are read basically using either using. So I said that one before few classes, I said that I will be teaching you octals, hexadecimals, and binaries. Binaries, of course, you have some idea, but the octals and hexa you don't have. Actually, when you read a picture file, it will be read using hexadecimal codes. It's read using binary, but presented to you using hexadecimal code. When it is when there is a text file, it will be read using the characters, so you can understand that actually. So let's see how this is applied to both type of files first, and then let's see what are the operations that we can, what are the possibilities, what we can do with these files. How can we write? How can we read? How can we append? Append means add it to the end. Can be done. Actually, the file is one of the main mechanism to store data. The other one is database. Still, we are about to start that lesson. The database lesson, we will be learning some interesting ways of storing data. Actually, why we need some kind of storage? Because up to now, whatever the inputs and outputs that we have obtained are just depend on the particular time. If I give some input, it will produce output that will display in the particular time. After that, it will not be there. We don't have mechanism to keep our outputs in a storage. We didn't learn a mechanism to keep our outputs, keep these outputs in a storage. And also we didn't learn mechanism to keep inputs or whatever the things given by the user. Therefore, we need to feed these things again and again into the program when we want to execute. Likewise, so because of this, since we need to input things frequently, then and there, then since we need to get the output then and there, the storage or the files are very playing vital role, very important role. By storing this, it can store input, it can store outputs, and it can even store intermediate data. And this data can be read and used again and again. And this data can be written back to some other formats. And also for analyzing decision making, this data is very important. Actually, without kind of data storage, having a software is useless. Think about Word. Word has a way of storing Word files. Excel has a way of storing Excel files or Excel documents. Then PowerPoint has a way of storing PowerPoint files. Even Python has a way of storing Python files. That is why we are saving this. But the programs that we have written up to now, during last few months, maybe we have studied this course or studied this content closer to 2 months now. And whatever we have learned, we have practiced, still we have not learned a method or way of storing the user inputs and outputs. Therefore, this, maybe you can store this in a list or tuple, but that is also temporary. You have to again enter it when you're running the code in the next time. Therefore, this storage is very kind of useful. Let's see how can we read a file first. Right. I'll give you a small note on this. Basically, it shows different ways of reading, different ways of writing, and different ways of appending. and different modes actually. So, but before that, let me start with small exercise. Let's say file 1. I'm going to open a file. Then you have to give the file name. So actually, since I'm going to save this in my documents, I would like to read a file in documents. So let's read what? Let's read a lot of files there. Okay, this BM seems bigger. So let's open this. Is it bigger file? Yeah, it is a very big file. H1.html. Still, it's a big file. Okay, back.html. I think this has a few content. Or let's try to find a very small file. Okay, this page.html. Yeah, it has a table. It has a table, only 2 kilobytes. Table 2.html. It's a very simple table. Let's or maybe let's try hello CSS multi.html. It has a picture. Hello CSS.html. Okay, that has a small form. Anyway, this p1.txt, what is there? It has some text. Okay, let's read this file, table2.html, table2.html. Okay, I'm going to read that. Therefore, I'm going to my code, open, then the file name is table2. This is the simplest way of giving that. You can give the file name. That is the most easiest and simplest way of giving that table, table2.html. Actually, you need to save the document in the same location. Otherwise, you need to give the full path. Two ways of giving that. Either you have to give the full path of this file. You can say this is inside like this. So this is inside Dasun Nilanjana user folder. That is inside users folder. That is inside Macintosh hard disk. So you can say root, then users, inside root users, Dasun Nilanjana, inside that documents. Inside that, likewise, you have to tell the full path here. User, Dasun Nilanjana, documents, then so in your computer, this can be C users, Tenuka documents, or C users, Tenuka desktop, then. So likewise, it's a bigger part. This is also okay, or you can do another way. No need to give both. I'm just showing you the ways of giving. Just giving name. If you are saving this document file in this place, if you are saving your document file in this place, just saving this using the name is enough. Let me save file reading.py and I'm running it. And you can see nothing is there. Basically, it's opening. And if I want to read, f1.read can be used. That will read the entire file, file1, f1.read. You can see the file is read now. And f2.read, f2.read also read in the same file, no? So that will also read the file similar way. You can see some symbols. This for /n. These are for new lines. /t for tab. /n for new line. Because it reads all the characters. Read will read the entire file, but f1.read line will read only one line. Read line will only read the first line. So let's say F2 dot read line, that will read the first line. First line is empty, it seems, right? No, no. Yeah, it's empty. So, but that is due to our error. It is not actually empty. You can see there are some text in the first line. Let's see. Let's go to this file. Table. What's the file? Okay, this is the file. I'm going to open this using brackets. And see this. Please see this. There are text. You can see there are text. The first line is not empty. First line is HTML. It is not empty. But my code is telling it is empty. The reason is that we have opened the file, read it. Once this file is read, the file pointer will be at the end. That means after reading, the file is already file pointer at the end. Then if you try to read, it's at the end, it cannot read it. So what you need to do is you have to close the file first. F1 dot close and F2 dot close. After closing files, that means after opening, you have read and close it. Now again, file point at the beginning of the file here. Now if you try to read line, so it will read the first line. Before that, you need to open the file. Actually, I have to run this code again to open the file. Now it's opening the file. Now you can read line. That will read the first line. You can see HTML and new line. So F2 also the same, right? Same thing. F2, I'm reading. Now now if I try to read another line, the next line will come. 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 Read another line, the next line. Read another line, the next line will come. That is what happening. When I read the line, it will move forward line by line. It will move forward line by line. That is what the read line is. Actually, there is another one called read lines. It can read all the lines into a list. All the remaining lines actually, because already I have read few lines. If I use read lines, it will read everything to a single list. But if I try to read it again, now nothing is there. Why? Now I have read the entire file. Now I'm at the end. So if I try to read this again, nothing will happen. Okay, so you have to get that exposure. First of all, refer to the file and try to practice these commands. So one is F1 read. That will read everything. But after reading, what you need to do, please close the file. Why closing? Because otherwise it won't read the, it won't give the proper exposure. It won't give the next, it won't read the next line. Then open the file again and try to read a line and close. Try to read a line. So don't copy the path. The path should be related to your file, right? You have to point it to your one of the files in your computer. Don't point to this file because this file is there in my computer. Then try to do the third one. Read lines. As the fourth one, try to read few lines. Read line, maybe few lines. You can do something like this. You can use a loop for I in range 5. Read lines. That will read line. So your read line means you are doing this 5 times. That means you are reading 5 lines. Okay, please try this first. So please share it. Then let me check whether so which file you are referring and why you are getting errors. Just share the screen.
Oh, I'm not sharing.
No, I cannot see. So can you share the screen?
Okay.
Okay, then what is the file that you try to read? Here you can't read like this. You have to give the file name properly, right? File name and the extension. So that need to be given. Like, can you go to view menu, like view button above this one, and just show. You need to show the file name extension. File name extension. Yes. Now you can see the file. So like if you want to read which file you want to read, you can decide which file you want to read. Okay, there are many files now. You have to mention the single file name. Okay, one dot what? So go here and see whether you have to do the extension to. Click here. 1.py. Yes, 1.py. Now only it can read the file. Okay, see, now run this and see. Oh, F1 is not there. Close it. Please close it. Close this window, terminal. Okay, here you are defining F1 equal open. Yeah, you don't want to again. So because here reading part is there. No? Okay, can you run it now? Just run it. Run module. Okay. Move down. What it says? No such files in. Yeah. So it's trying to open this place. Like then it's trying to open C users, then okay, OneDrive pictures, and then this is the place that it tries to open. It says it cannot find file there. So close this, and you need to find a file. You need to find, like, you need to give the location. Close it. Just close it. And now go to the this. Now you can see this is the place that you have saved C users, then OneDrive pictures. Right, your file should be there in the particular location. Or just go to the file view now. So this is this PC desktop Python, and so see the paths are totally different. This is C users, then okay, OneDrive pictures, and this is the location that where you have saved the file, and this is the place that you are going to search a file to open. So you can see it is impractical, right? How can that happen? Then what you need to do? You need to save this file in desktop here, because you are trying to open a file in the desktop now. Desktop Python folder. Then here what you need to do, you have to save this file in the desktop Python folder. File save as. That is the number one mistake that you have done. You are trying to now save desktop Python folder. Okay, save it. Now it will recognize, okay, yes. Because you have saved this in two locations. That is the main issue. Okay, now run it. Okay, you can see the file is read. Without any errors, the file is read. Understood? So it depends on the location that you save the file, right? Totally depends on the location that you save. Understood how to give the location?
Yeah.
Okay, otherwise what will happen if you give a wrong place, that it won't be able to find the file. So what you can do, what I can suggest you can give the full path. C, users, then OneDrive. So likewise, you can give the full path. Then also that will work. Right?
Yes.
Regardless of the location, regardless of the place that you have saved, you can give the full path. Okay, just copy this down. So just try all these steps, like read lines, and so this for I in range read lines. Try all these things. Okay. Just take a screenshot. You will try and try to open files this way. Actually, if you want to open picture files and all, I will suggest you take a screenshot quickly. I'll tell you how to open picture files and all. If you need to open picture files, then what you need to do is you need to change the mode. So these are the modes available for files. So can you see? There are different modes. R mode, RB mode, R plus mode, RB plus mode, W mode, likewise. there are modes. These modes can be applied this way. Hide.text read mode. Then if it is a picture, maybe abc.jpg read in binary RB mode. So here mode should be given. That is what the lacking is. These are the modes available. RRB, R plus, RB plus, WWB, W plus, WP plus, AAB, A plus, AB plus. I'll explain these things next day, but for today, for this week, just give a try to open and read the files this way. Okay. Then have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.